In today's video, we're going to be talking about Scarlet and Violet base set. Scarlet and Violet base set. We're really just going to be talking about if this set is good or bad. So, first off here, we have the booster box for Scarlet and Violet base. It's around 91 bucks. But we're going to see what people are actually buying it for. So this person bought 2 for 93, 1 for 93, 1 for 91, 1 for 92, 2 for 92.50. So it's right around the $90 mark, which is fairly cheap for a booster box in my opinion. And at the peak of it, maybe we're looking at $97 for a booster box at the peak. Average daily sold, we're looking at 8 booster boxes with a total of 2,850 sold. So I wouldn't say that this is a set that people are just buying in quantity. Alright, we're just going to look at one of the ETBs here real quick. There's two different variants. There's the Miraidon and Koraidon, but let's see here. I mean, you're looking right around $35, $36 for a booster box, which is really cheap, actually. Alright, so we're just going to be looking at some of the special illustration rares from this set, and the biggest card from this set is the Miriam. I'm sure if you guys remember from when this set was first released, this card was huge. It was multiple hundreds of dollars, and as you can see now in the past year, the high on this card was about $35 to $36, pretty close between these two peaks right here. Average daily sold, we're looking at 6 with a total sold of right around 2,100 cards. In my opinion, I think this Miriam artwork is pretty cool. I don't think it should have been what it was at when it first released at multiple hundreds of dollars. I think it's right around what it should be, around 20 some bucks. I personally collected this card from my binder and a lot of the other Sword and Shield base set cards. I think they're super cool, but I do think that they get a lot of hate that they don't deserve. For example, let's look at this Miraidon EX card here. I think that this card specifically gives the Miriam a run for its money when it comes to best card in the set. I just really like the city look in the background. I think that's a dash bun maybe. I can't exactly tell what that is. Looking out the window there. Just a super cool artwork in my opinion. And let's talk about this card here real quick. You can see this card selling for $13, $12, $15, $11. I think it's a fairly cheap card and pretty good artwork for that price. So I have a couple of these. I do think the Miraidon card is better than the Koraidon card though. Again though, the Koraidon card is pretty cool. You have the Dedenne there. Looks like maybe it's a jungle or a forest. When it comes to pricing on this card, you're looking at $9, $11, $11, $10, $9 for the Koraidon EX. Another card you have here is the Gardevoir EX. And I don't think this is one of the best cards in this set, but I know a lot of people like Gardevoir, so I can respect it. I think it's an okay card. I think it's fair for this card to be priced at $25. There's a lot of artwork on this card, a lot of detail to it. Also, if you didn't know, the illustration rares tell us kind of like a little bit of a story. So you start with your, I believe, your Ralts, then to your Kirlia, then to the Gardevoir, and it's like 3 different artworks with 3 different time frames. If you haven't noticed, look it up. The last special illustration rare card I'm going to be covering here is the Penny SIR. You could see this card selling for $4, $5, as high as $7 right there. And I think it's crazy because a lot of people are particularly hyped when it comes to Penny, but I think that this card is cheaper for 2 reasons. 1, it's Scarlet and Violet base, and 2, there's no Umbreon in it. I feel like some of the other Penny cards you've seen, so you have from Paldea and Fates, I know it's more expensive than this one, but I think the fact that there's no Umbreon and that this is Scarlet and Violet base, that this card is cheaper. Umbreon tax does exist. So here's the whole list of all the special illustration rares from Scarlet and Violet base. I'm not going to go through all of them. There's just some other cheaper ones like Spidops EX, Iron Treads, Great Tusk, which isn't a bad artwork, Arven, Jock, and that's it. Alright, so now we're going to look at the illustration rares And there's 24 of them in Scarlet and Violet base, and I think this is probably my favorite one from the set. I think this Pachirisu card is pretty slept on. You can get this card for as low as $3, or there's one here. Let's see, this might be Japanese though. Yeah, that's Japanese, so you can get this card for right around $3, almost $4 for a copy. And in my opinion, this is the best illustration rare in the set, and that could be a unpopular opinion. I know there's a Riolu, there's the Slowpoke that people like, but I personally like this one and think it's super slept on. So here's another one, some of people's favorite here, the Slowpoke. You could pick this card up for around $4, $8, $7, $10. This one's a little bit all over the place right here, but I'm sure if you were patient, you could find a good copy for $4 or less. Another cool one here is the Riolu. I know a lot of people like this one with him like destroying the whole room or whatever. You can get this one for $9. That's probably a Japanese copy. $8. So $8 to $9 you can pick up the Riolu for Scarlet and Violet base. This is another one that I think is pretty slept on. I just think the artwork on this one is pretty cool. The King Gambit. You can get this one for $5, $4 to $5 per copy. I don't know why. I really like the artwork on this one. Other people might not, but the last illustration rare that I think is slept on from Scarlet and Violet base a little bit is this Starly card. You can pick up copies of this card for $2, it looks like. $1.50 actually. $1.50, $2.74, $3.30. I don't know. I just think that the Starly artwork here is pretty cool. It's a card that I'm familiar with, and I have a couple copies of this card. So as you can see, there's a lot of illustration rares here when it comes to Scarlet and Violet base. I'm not going to cover them all. Some of them I'm not a big fan of. I don't really like them, and I just covered some of the favorite ones just a second ago. So, should you buy Scarlet and Violet base? In my opinion, I don't think that it's as bad of a set as everyone thinks. I think that a lot of people don't like it because they're not familiar with a lot of the new Pokemon. I definitely think it's one of the better base sets that's ever been printed. I mean, obviously, you know, your first edition base set and base set unlimited, like, yeah, that's OG Pokemon. That's when it first came out. I don't think it tops that. But I'm saying some of the other base sets, like maybe Sun and Moon base, I just think the artwork from some of the cards definitely is better than a lot of other base sets that we've seen. And that could be a hot take. Let me know your opinions down in the comments. But that's just what I think. But when it comes to spending money, I'm not going to tell anyone how to spend their money. I personally don't own a booster box of Scarlet and Violet base set yet. I'll probably pick up one eventually. This isn't something that I would buy, you know, cases and cases of. Maybe 2 to 3 boxes and just sit on it and see what happens. But I have been buying some of the cards up because they're so cheap, you know. Like $5 for a special illustration rare is crazy. So why not pick up 3 copies, put them away, and see what happens. Overall, I'd say that it's not a terrible set. I think people just need to give it a chance, and I think over time people are definitely going to come back to this set and say it's not as bad as they thought it was. On top of that, this is also one of the first 4 sets released from Scarlet and Violet, obviously as its base set. And people like to say that the first 4 sets of every era are boxes that people particularly don't care for, which, I mean, I can see that a little bit. So, like I said, I think over time people are going to come back and maybe pick up this box and buy some of the artworks and appreciate them, because I do think that some of the cards are really cool, but that doesn't mean that they should be, you know, $100 cards. When the hit card in the set is less than, you know, an ETB or a booster box, people aren't going to chase it and open up a bunch of Scarlet and Violet base set to get the pulls. They're just not going to. So maybe in the future this set will be more collectible. Again, let me know your comments down below. That's going to be all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you could please like, comment, subscribe. Anything helps, and I'll see you in the next one.